Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Detroit Sports Sit Down. My name is Tom Murphy Jr. I got Joe Perry and Dan Murphy here with me. And what a weekend it was. If you are a Detroit sports fan, Sparties aside, if you were a Detroit sports fan, what a weekend. Michigan wins. The Lions win. The Red Wings got their first win. The Pistons looking real...
They won.
Okay. But they won. Everybody won. And everybody won. And Ohio State lost. Oh, my. What a weekend.
Yeah, even Sparty has to be happy about that.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. We got a lot to talk about today. We're gonna be talking football. We're talking Lions, and we're talking Michigan and Michigan State today. So, fellas, wow.
Yeah.
What a weekend. Like, it's a great time to be a Detroit sports fan. Like I said, unless you're a Sparty, because that was a pretty dominating performance. And we're going to go ahead and start with the Michigan State game. Lots to talk about there. Dominating defense for Michigan. What we're going to get into first is, and we got a clip. Let's talk about all the, what do you want to call it, the shenanigans, the hoopla, the blatant disrespect, the fire.
Hopefully it's a rivalry, in charge. That's what I hope. You know, it just makes the game even better next year. As
Chase Winovich would say, the smoke. You know, you guys want some smoke? We want the smoke. Lots to talk about. Let's start with this clip, though, that you got fired up, Joe, to kind of just relive the moment that was Saturday morning.
Great win, fabulous mood in the locker room. The team feels great about itself, and it should. I mean, our team never blinked the entire time. They played hard, they played smart, and from the pregame shenanigans. There was no backing down today by our guys. Well, I just heard about it. I didn't see it, but Dave was out there. He saw it, and apparently they were clotheslined. Two of our guys came out in their helmets. Lawrence Marshall they just went up and clotheslined them. The old-fashioned clothesline. Ripped off. One of their guys ripped off Levert's headphones. Total Bush League, and apparently Coach D'Antonio was 5 yards behind it, all smiling. So. Yeah, I think it's Bush League. That's my impression of it. But our guys, they didn't blink. They didn't come here to back down or get intimidated by anybody. So we never have in this game. And guys did what they had to do. Be a happy bus ride home.
It was just one of those things where you felt like you get disrespected. What Michigan State did, with the whole walk the 100 yards with their arms, locked up while we trying to warm up, and I felt like. He was, trying to take a shot at us, or, trying to do something to us, and I ain't like that, so that's what that was.
Third quarter left. He throws a dime to Peoples-Jones, I believe, for 80, and all of a sudden it's 14-7 like that,
The other day you talked about the last few years feeling like it was a cleaner game, more sportsmanship. There were some issues before the game today. Mm-hmm. The little brother line comes out again afterwards from Michigan players, and Coach Harbaugh said the shenanigans before the game were total Bush League. And Coach D'Antonio was 5 yards behind it, all smiling. I was curious if you had any reaction to that. I'm sorry?
You heard me. That's BS.
Okay.
You guys get your cameras out.
And all right. Lots of ways to go here. First of all, that clip was Jim Harbaugh after the game. Then you had Devin Bush, who was at the center of a lot of the pregame shenanigans, as Harbaugh likes to call him. And then you had D'Antonio. Basically, I mean, is he caught in a lie here? He says it's BS that he was down there smiling, but there's video, evidence of him out there on that walk, kind of with a smirk on his face as this stuff's going down. Now, all those comments were from Saturday after the game. There's been some more stuff. People are trying to continue the talking points on this, but Mark D'Antonio really didn't stand down from his comments that it was BS, but there is evidence of him kind of behind there smiling. What was he smiling at? What did he notice? That's hard to tell, I guess. What is this, though? Is this something? And then you have Devin Bush just cleating up the the Spartan S, you know, he's all over social media doing that. Some people think it's awesome. Some people think it's classless. You got people saying, "Oh, I love this comment." You know, like some reporters out there. "Oh, this is going to ruin." You know, NFL executives are going to watch this video, and you know he might not get drafted. You know,
right.
Okay. Like, oh my God, come on, man. Let's stop with that take. You know,
I think everybody's making a way bigger deal
and
of it.
And that's what
just like everything. Everyone just blows it up.
Just like Baker Mayfield planting the flag in the middle of the field. I mean,
people are like, "Oh, you're gonna see? Oh, no, that's Clay. Oh, he grabbed his crotch. You know,
he ain't gonna get drafted now.
Yeah.
Oh, number 1 pick." Okay.
I just mean the whole thing in general. I mean, I know it's a tradition of theirs to do, and they were like 5 minutes late or something.
And that's
what
it is. There is a point there, you know, to say they because I think it's all some gamesmanship.
Yeah. Both sides.
They went out late on purpose, but guys were out there and they didn't back down. But it's just, man, you see this stuff, man. I remember it was a couple years ago where it was Michigan and Ohio State. The two teams kind of just lined up like in the middle of the field, started like jump, like basically like a couple guys were pushing each other a little bit, but they were all just kind of jumping around, and they made a big almost a brawl before the game. Like it's part of a big game. It was that was a big game.
It's just intense,
especially with the way Michigan beat Wisconsin and the way Michigan State beat Penn State. That made that game.
Oh yeah,
there was so much on the line, and with all the talk going in, personally,
it was essentially a Big Ten East eliminator game.
Essentially,
yeah.
So I'll say, but my opinion, I think a lot of much ado about nothing. I think it adds a little fuel to the fire of the rivalry. I liked it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, it's just, when you get kids out there, they're all excited, ready to play, and you know they're out there and they're supposed to be marching because it's a tradition, and it's just not even a big deal, really. They probably should have just let the guy, you know, a couple of them did loosen their arms so they could go through, and yeah, they probably should have all done that, but I mean, it's just not a big deal at all. They just were all fired up. It got everybody all fired up for the game, and I think that is the point of it. And even if Dan Toney was out there watching, who cares? I mean, he didn't expect them to, you know, a fight to incur. It did. He's probably wasn't laughing at that. I mean, you could have got a picture of it earlier when he's smiling. You know how you can take a picture or whenever and just say it was exactly when the fights was happening, he was smiling, you know. He might have been out there, but he might have not seen exactly everything that happened. So
I think both sides kind of wanted something little to happen. Obviously not a big thing, a melee or anything like that, but I think both sides kind of wanted a little something there just to fire their team up and, you know, fire their sides up. And this is one of those cases where it's kind of like a no harm, no foul type deal. You know, nothing big happened of it. Nobody got hurt out of it.
They weren't fist fighting. They just pushed each other a little bit.
It was a little pushing and shoving, tearing up the field a little bit, which they fixed anyways because Devin Bush didn't really do a good job of tearing up the field, to be honest with you.
I think his point was made.
His point was made,
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I think that's all he wanted to do.
That's he got. That video of him
just tearing up the field with sleep.
Just went viral. Like,
well, I saw that before I knew what happened before the game, so I was like, oh, wow, he must be fired up for the game.
Oh, everybody was there. That was a national thing, man. Everybody was talking about. And that's what was really kind of bothering me was there was a point where all you were seeing was Devin Bush tearing up the field without any backstory of the walk-through clothesline situation. Now the whole narrative is out there. People can judge for themselves because there's multiple different camera angles, there's multiple different views now. A lot of different people have talked about it. So
at the end of the day, this is good fuel for the fire.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the rivalry heated up again. It, you know.
And that's what I'm excited for because I love this game.
We can break down the game, but I'd rather, since we're talking about kind of the outside of the actual game, let's fast forward to after the game. Since we all know Michigan 21, Michigan State 7, dominating defensive performance by Michigan. Chase Winovich, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite Wolverines of all time. I just love this guy, man. He's awesome. He plays with passion. He's a beast on the field. He's entertaining off the field. He speaks his mind. Obviously, Coach Harbaugh trust him in that role because he's a leader role. He has a leadership role, and he's on there, man. I woke up one morning, I'm listening to him at like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning on 97.1, you know, and he's doing a interview, and he's consistent with what he's saying, and he sounds intelligent, but he sounds like a football player, like a football player, you know.
He looks like a football player too.
Yeah. But he did something that I don't like, and as a Michigan fan, I don't want Michigan players at this point to bring up little brother. Little brother was a thing. That was a thing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
In these last 10 years, statistics and records and accomplishments show that Michigan is more of the little brother in this scenario in the last 10 years. So let's not have one game bring this all back because you can't because Michigan has done nothing yet compared to what Michigan State has done in the last 10 years.
I agree, yeah.
They've had no playoffs, no Big Ten championships.
No Big Ten East division championships.
Yeah, Michigan State has done all that. So this isn't sometimes your little brother acts up. This is your little brother grew 6 inches, and he's now your big brother.
Man, I wonder.
It's something that I can relate
Sounds like
to.
It's close to home, doesn't it?
It sure does, man. And that's what it is. For those that never seen us personally, I'm 5'11" and a half, and Dan's like 6'12", something.
6'5". We don't need to say the weight, but I'm 6'5".
6'5" and a bunch of pounds.
Yeah.
But that happened to me, man, and that happened to Michigan too. Pre little brother, man. So I don't need to hear little brother anymore as a Michigan fan. Let's put that to bed.
So that's personal for you.
Well,
that's why I need. That's why I want to put it to
but
bed.
I think Michigan fans, when they start coming out with this stuff, man, Chase Winovich, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Michigan State is little brother. And then Michigan State comes back. When's the last time you've been to the playoffs? When's the last time you won a Big Ten championship? What's the record between us the last 10 years, 11 years?
No, I agree with you 100%.
So that bothers me. Are you like... Where are you guys with that?
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. You got your ass kicked the last 10 years, so you can't call him your little brother. When did Dan kick your ass? What age?
By the time I would have done that, we were pretty mature.
Yeah,
pretty close to adulthood at that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
lucky
I don't think
for me, man.
So it's like adulthood, just preteen or. I was thinking more like teens or...
No, the roughest one was he ripped my Jerry Rice rookie card in half, and I think I pushed him to the ground or something. I didn't hit it because I was still... I think I was, I don't know, 11 or 12 or something. Oh, that's the most mad I've ever been.
He still wasn't as big as you then?
I think that's No,
I was very little.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I got 7 years on Dan, so... If I was, I may have been like 13, and I think he was like 6.
Oh, okay.
But I was mad as hell.
I just knew Tom did something to
part.
piss me off, and I just took one of his cards. I didn't know what card it was. I had no idea it was Jerry
It was the Jerry Rice rookie card.
So I just ripped it up.
Just so he knows.
So he owes you money then.
I never forgave him for that one, man. And but no, luckily for me, man, we've always been pretty civil.
That's good.
Since then. But speaking of civil, this is not civil, and you're hearing the back and forth between the coaches now, and they always do that. They get their snide remarks, their little, I think
pride comes before the fall, all that stuff. Yeah.
And then Harbaugh's trying to use it right now this year, especially this game. Harbaugh does have the upper hand right now, but he better use it because we talked about this before now. How important is it for Michigan to get wins against Michigan State and Ohio State comparative to just winning the Big Ten East? So let's say you win the Big Ten East, but you lose to Michigan State and you lose to Ohio State. We had a good back and forth about that, you guys, prior. Now, right now, it's looking like, okay, you beat Michigan State. Ohio State looks like they can be beaten. You better go out and do this now, because if they lose, you got a bye week. You got a Penn State team that looks like a shell of themselves that they've been. You better beat Penn State at home. And I thought it was going to be a night game, but I think the time was announced a 3:45 kickoff or something like that.
That's weird.
I like those times.
Oh, that's the
especially
best,
when
man.
you're in the fall now.
Yup, because it starts getting dark towards the end of the game. Like, it starts out daylight, and then the lights start like coming on and towards the end. You better go out and beat the heck out of Penn State. And then you got Rutgers and I think Indiana. Better be both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go in, if you don't lose again, and you go into Ohio State, you go into Columbus, and this is a broken team. Their best player decides to just quit. Basically, Nick Bosa. He wants to focus on rehabbing, and then they lost a wide receiver today to a surgery. The coach is under fire like never before. Urban Meyer is basically like a god in Columbus, and now he's under fire for all this stuff. And them losing to Purdue,
The way they lost to Purdue,
they got beat down.
Yeah.
And real quick, I really, really enjoyed watching that. I really, really enjoyed it. But I understand, and me and Dan had a conversation. It was funny, like on the way home Saturday prior to the Ohio State game, we were just having a conversation, and I asked him, and I'll ask you this same question, Joel. Would you rather watch one of these lower teams come up and sneak Ohio State and watch them lose, or do you want Ohio State to be undefeated, number 2 in the country, possibly number 1 if the unthinkable happens and Alabama loses? Ohio State maybe be number 1 in that game. I'm torn. I was torn. I always am torn because I hear your point, Dan, is you want Ohio State to be really, really good. You want the game to mean everything it possibly can. But now, I'll start with you, Dan. In hindsight of seeing Ohio State lose, in hindsight of the statement you made, how do you feel now? Don't you just get so much joy out of watching the Suck Guys lose?
I want it to be done by Michigan. No, one of my favorite moments watching college football, and I didn't have the ending that we all wanted, but 2006 when ESPN had that time clock going on like 5 weeks ahead of time before they played each other. There was so much anticipation, so much build to that game when they finally did play, and usually games don't match up to that anticipation, and it did. It was one of the best football games I've ever watched. Unfortunately, Ohio State came out the winner that day, but that game was incredible, and that build up to that game was incredible, and I love all of that. I love the story, I love the drama, and I love the build going into a big game like that. And Ohio State getting crushed by Purdue, and let's say Ohio State goes and drops another one, which could happen with the way they played against Purdue. It's not out of the question they lose another one before Michigan. Yeah. And if that happens, it's just not a big game. Like, it doesn't. I mean, it's still a big game for Michigan, and it will be a big game because it is Michigan Ohio State. But it's not nationally. Everybody is watching it. All eyes are on that game, which is what you want when it's Michigan Ohio State. So I think it just takes a little bit away from that game at the end of the season and at the end of the regular season, where it should be everything on the table. And there could be a situation where Michigan already has the East clinched before they play Ohio State. And if that's the situation, that really takes a lot from the game.
Well, it'll take something from the game.
It'll still matter, obviously,
but
immensely to Michigan, but
because of the playoffs.
Yeah. But it's not both sides. It's not like a playoff eliminator game, which it could have been.
Joe,
it still could be, but
yeah. Joe, where are you at on this? Would you rather see? Did you enjoy Ohio State losing so much that you don't care that it could possibly take away from the Michigan-Ohio State game?
That is a tough one because Dan does make a good point, but I'm kind of with you, Tom. I do like to see Ohio State lose, but I definitely see Dan's point where the build-up, it's the game of the century. The winner's going to advance to the playoffs. It's what year was that? It was a few years ago when it was.
Well, it was just
even 2016.
2016, that's what it was. 2016, where. It just
winner take all.
Yeah, winner take all. That was an exciting.
It is
time and an exciting game. So I
still
like to see Ohio State lose anytime.
I think that's
In
where we're
any
at.
sport.
Long term, it's like long term. Dude, it does kind of hurt. But man, when you're in that moment and you're sitting in front of your TV and Ohio State's just getting murdered by a team they should not lose to, and Urban Meyer is like crying on the field, like doesn't know what to do with himself. Like, oh my God, it was just so beautiful.
I didn't
to
watch the game, but yeah.
I watched every minute of that football game, man. Well, there was a lot to flip around. I did a lot of flipping around there, man. There was a lot going on. That was a fun Saturday night, man. There was a game a couple channels down, dude. It was Washington State and Oregon. That was a thriller, too, man. That game was wild. So I was kind of flipping back and forth. You had baseball, and oh, man, it was fun. The Pistons, they were in a good game. There was a lot of flipping around, but the thing that had my attention was watching Ohio State suffer. Just suffer. What do they call him? The Bucknut? The guy that paints his face. He's at every game. The big fit Ohio State guy. I think they call him the Bucknut or whatever. And he's just beside himself. Man, you can't believe what's going on. And then you had the story about the kid Tyler. They're doing I think it's Tyler Strong, and they're interviewing him. And it took everything he had to get to the game. And so you had the whole story behind that. Which was the whole thing was just fantastic. It was a fantastic night, and just to see those Purdue fans just get to rush the field, and you just see Ohio State just dejected, man. Oh God, you loved it. I loved it.
But what about the actual game?
The Michigan. You want to, yeah.
Well, I mean, not really break it down. Just a couple points I want to talk about.
Okay, so that's it. Yeah, so
it's like working.
But the actual game, yeah. I mean, come on, man. These stats, man. You look at these stats.
Yeah.
Let's run them down. Time of possession. 41 minutes to 18, man. Well, 41:03 to 18:57.
Yeah,
time
more
of
than
possession
double.
in Michigan.
More than double.
First downs 19. Michigan State 11. This has got to be one of the most telling stats, I would think. I wonder if this has ever happened in this rivalry. Third down efficiency.
Yeah, that was a crazy
Michigan,
stat.
7 of 17. Michigan State 0 for 12.
Yeah, that's
they
a
didn't
crazy
convert a third down. Now, here you go. You can keep going with these. Total net yards, 387 to 65.
Oh, yeah, because of the sacks.
65 total net yards for Michigan State. Rushing, net yards rushing, 183 to 15. Net yards passing, 204 to 50. Completions, this is like one of the closer ones, actually. 14 of 25 for completions versus attempts to 7 of 28. Now, here's my favorite stat right here, though. Because Michigan gave Michigan State 99 yards on penalties. Where their net... the net
and that was 61?
65.
65?
The net, yeah. How are you... Yeah. Break that down. So they gave them more yards and penalties that Michigan State actually earned themselves.
A lot of them on that very last drive, too.
Yeah. Oh God,
they drove right down the field on penalties.
Yeah, they sure did.
I was just surprised how good Higdon the last couple games has ran.
Karan Higdon,
because normally Michigan, at least in the last few years, have not been able to run the ball against like Michigan State and Wisconsin. So the last couple of games, we've actually been able to run the ball. I think has been huge and it really has helped Shea Patterson because I still don't think he's as great as everybody thinks. I think he's a serviceable. I mean, he's a 5-star. He's supposed to be awesome, but I think he's good. But I don't think he's great.
Though, man.
No, I know, but I feel like that's what everybody thought.
Well, everybody wants to think that, the Savior's coming. That's what he is. That's a lot of pressure to put on a kid who was at Ole Miss and, like, the whole program went to hell. Mm-hmm. And with all the sanctions and all the stuff they got going on over there, the kid didn't even know if he was going to be eligible, like, halfway through. What was it? Like, it was late spring, I think, when he finally found out he was actually even going to be eligible. He needs some time to
Yeah, no, I
Figure it out,
I've,
man.
I've been impressed with him, especially a few of the times he actually he wasn't handing the ball or running the ball.
Yeah,
on all his options, he'd always hand it off. Yeah, so he made a few nice reads where he actually ran the ball and made some first downs.
Ran himself, and he's got the speed to get to the outside.
He's been playing better and better each game in the last couple games. So,
and how about that shot to DPJ, man, Donovan Peoples-Jones? That what a landmark moment. In that game, because I think it was it tied? I think it was tied at that point. 7-7.
Quarter.
He just hits a perfect stream, and man, what a play! But the thing that worries me about Michigan is when you look at all these stats, you look at how great the defense played, and Michigan didn't score their final touchdown until. This game should have been 56-7.
Yeah,
really. Like, if you don't look at the score and you look at all these stats, you'd be like, "Wow, Michigan State got blown out." What was it, 45-7? Was it like 56-0? Like, no, it was 21-7, and the game was very, very close, pretty much the whole game.
But I feel like Michigan State still does have a not a great defense, but better than good defense.
They got Michigan State has a really good defense.
So it's just their offense that's really bad. So that's part of the reason that the score was 21-7. It's with all those stats.
I don't know. It worries me, man. I mean, 21-7, and with the stats the way they are, the game looked, Michigan did beat them down.
No, I see your point.
But this game was close for a long time. If a bounce goes a certain way, if Lewerke actually completes a pass to someone, and a big thing, Felton Davis getting hurt for Michigan State was huge because he is such a gamer. You look what Davis did against Penn State just a week prior, and you see how important he is to that team and how good he is. So for real, I hope he's. I hope he gets healthy as soon as possible. Speedy recovery to Felton Davis because that guy's a football player, man. I really like his game, and that was a big part of that game. I think if Felton Davis is in there, Lewerke maybe completes a few more passes at least, and one of those could be broken. Changes the whole dynamic of the game.
That's a good point. Yeah, because he went out pretty early in the game. Yeah,
let's talk about Lewerke. This is the guy who we really thought.
You guys did. I didn't really like. Yeah, remember at the beginning
I thought
of the
he
year?
was doing great last year until he got hurt.
I just didn't think he could throw downfield. I thought he was more of a manager. What's that?
He didn't get hurt last year. He didn't break his leg last year. That was 2 years.
Oh yeah,
but he had a great year last year.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He had off and on. I thought he had some good games and he had some bad games, but he just never really impressed me all that much. I don't feel like he can throw downfield, and he's really not. Didn't he run a lot more last year? I feel like he's not running this year.
Supposedly, he came into the game hurt.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess he didn't practice all week.
Yeah. So,
but that's a lot.
So maybe
of
that's
it
what.
too.
Maybe he's been playing hurt all year. Who knows? I mean,
and that will affect. Man,
if that's your game running, that's going to throw your game off.
If you can put the pads on, you can play. There's like, man, if you're playing, especially if you're a quarterback, if you got a bum shoulder or something, or you got pain somewhere, it's hard. You can't just block it out. I mean, you block it out because you're a football player,
but it's going to affect you.
But it's going to affect your physical performance, It just happens that way. So, but still, man,
he can't play that way. I mean, if that's the case, they're going to have to go with somebody else. And they brought in Lombardi. They drove down the field. It was all because of Michigan penalties. But
yeah, he was only 1 for 2 for 9 yards. So
so
it's not like he tore it
out. A penalty on every play.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like you said, if he's playing like that, they're going to have to look somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think the takeaway from this game, and Joe, you kind of hit on it, but it's Michigan's running attack. The fact that the offensive line is coming together and that they can run for over 100 yards and run the way they did last week against Wisconsin, and the fact that they're getting competent quarterback play. It's not, I know, Joe, you don't think Shea Patterson's lighting the world on fire, but he's making plays when he needs to.
Yeah.
And that's what Michigan needs. If Michigan has this type of running attack with that defense, Shea Patterson, I don't want to say a game manager. There's going to be times where he's going to need to make plays and make big plays, and he's doing it. When he needs to pull the ball and make a good read on a 4th and 2, he's getting 3 or 4 yards and pulling the ball when he needs to, and making good reads and making good decisions. It's 7-7. They need a big play. He hits Donovan Peoples-Jones for a 79-yard touchdown.
And just
change the whole dynamic of the game.
Tariq Black should be coming back. Hopefully, Michigan is on a bye this Saturday. So next game, Tariq Black. That's hard to say. Tariq Black is back. And that's just going to open up that passing game so much more. Because from what little we have seen of Black, he's so dynamic. And now Peoples-Jones is coming into his own. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what those two can do on the field together with Shea Patterson throwing them the ball. Because you're going to have to go... I mean, it's going to be kind of like pick your poison with both of those guys in. I think Shea is going to be good enough to find the one who's open, and they're both deep threats, and they're both like yards after catch guys too, man. Like they can catch the ball, make a move, and they're gone. Especially, if you get 10, 15 yards deep, let alone 30, 40 yards deep, where it's just you in a corner, or you and a safety, if they're playing zone or whatnot. I don't know. I'm just excited. I think the future is very, very bright. And obviously, with Ohio State going down, Michigan has this whole thing in the palm of their hands right now. The last thing I want to ask you guys before we wrap up this Michigan State segment is, do you guys think Michigan will run the table and make the playoffs? Do you think Harbaugh is equipped to coach this team? Does he have all the pieces he needs now to bring this thing home? Because everything is falling into place. You have a beaten up, like a psychologically broken down Penn State team, an Ohio State team that is looking psychologically broken down as well. It looks like Michigan is the lion and everybody else is the feeding right now. Do you guys think Michigan's going to run the table?
I'll say this about Ohio State. I think we had probably a similar conversation last year when they went to Iowa and got beaten down. Yep. They ended up bouncing back, rattling, and won the Big Ten East. Can they do that again? Absolutely. They have the talent to do it. They have the quarterback to do it. I know I'm not a big fan of him, but they have the coach to do it. And they got that game at home. So I think
we all know what happened 2 years ago.
Absolutely. There's funky things that go on, some shady things that go on in that stadium. So can Michigan do it? I think they'll be the favorite. I think they're going to be the favorite in every single game left on their schedule. And I think they'll go in as the favorite against Ohio State, just based on the way they're playing and the role they're on, the role they'll be on going into that game. But, man, until it happens, until Michigan can prove otherwise and get this demon, and defeat this demon and get this monkey off their shoulders, I can't pick them to go into Ohio State and beat them. I just can't. So to me, I still think Ohio State's going to come away winning this Big Ten East. It's going to be a close game. Something crazy might happen like it did in 2016. Calls not go their way, whatever it may be. Somehow, some way, Ohio State's going to end up winning that game. And I can't pick against Ohio State until I see otherwise.
That's a very good insight, Dan. I look at it where if Michigan can sustain this running game, I think they can beat Ohio State. It is tough. Like Dan said, they will be favored. But I think if they can run like they have been the last couple of weeks on Ohio State, I think they can beat them. But like Dan said, I think you got to go with history, and that's kind of how I am. And you got to say no, because Ohio State does beat us, especially at home. And that's what I'm going to give the advantage to, is the home field advantage, because it is pretty close. I think we can beat them, but I don't know if we can beat them there.
There's one more thing I want to add to that. The one thing that's been a bugaboo for Michigan as long as we've been watching them, but I thought it was going to be over with Don Brown, but it's still reared its ugly head the first game this year, is running quarterbacks. It gives them problems. And when you have Winovich and Gary and they did it in Game 1 against Notre Dame.
Well, Gary,
I know Gary might not even come back. Who knows if he's going to be there or not? But let's just say he is. Just to clarify this point, in that first game, they just rush up the field, which is what you want for defensive ends. You want them rushing up the field, especially if guys are potentially going to the next level. That's the game in the NFL level, right? Is you want pass rusher ends to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
But at college level, when you have running quarterbacks, it opens up running lanes for these quarterbacks. So when nothing's there deep, these ends rush up the field. The tackles, you get underneath the shoulder pads, drive them up the field, opens up running lanes for him. And Wimbush ran all over him in the Notre Dame game, right? And that's one of the big factors they lost. I could see that happening again in the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
The defensive end's getting up the field.
He's more of a...
He's a little bit more of a driver, right? He can run and move. And
he's an athlete, but he's still more of a pocket passer.
But I just can see that being an issue.
Yeah.
Is him making, it's a 3rd and 3, everybody's covered, ends up flying up the field, and he gets a 5 or 6 yard run, to keep a drive alive.
You got to keep those things sustained, though, man. And if that's going to come, you're right, though. That's going to come down to the defensive line holding their.
What do you think,
being more
Tom?
Disciplined?
What do you think, Tom?
I think Michigan looks really, really good right now. There's things like they're not playing perfect football, but they're playing really, really good. And they're exploiting their own strengths, and they're really recognizing the other team's weaknesses and really getting after that. And this defense, it is the best defense in the country right now. Statistically, I do believe you can look at certain statistics and lay that out however you want to, but they are one of the best defenses in the country. And it's fun to look at the polls and see Michigan at number 5, knowing that LSU has a loss,
and they got to play Alabama.
And they got to play, and they got to play Alabama. Now this is because I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Alabama's got to go to Tiger Stadium, right?
I think so.
Oh,
that's gonna be.
That's must-watch TV right there, man. That's SEC football at its finest, man. I think that's what it is, man. I think they got to go to. I think they're going to go to Tiger Stadium, man. And play Bama. God, you look at their... Dude, they've been putting up... I think that their lowest point total offensively was like 40. I think that's like the lowest points they've scored so far. And their defense is just... Like I said, NFL defense, man. But that's going to be fun. But obviously, one of those two is going to lose. Notre Dame has some tough games still coming up. They might catch an L soon. And then you got Clemson, who's probably going to roll through. But
I think it comes down to if Michigan runs the table, they're going to the playoff.
They have to.
They're going to the playoff.
Yeah.
With that schedule. The question is, did they beat Ohio State or not?
Yeah.
It's going to come down to that game because I think whoever wins the Big Ten East is going to be the favorite going against the West champion. So
yeah. Well, they have to win. Now, oh man, yeah. We'll visit that down the road because there's so many scenarios that could happen.
Yeah, let's take this 1 week at a time.
Yeah,
1 week at a time.
Well, we got a week. Well, Michigan has a week off, but the Big Ten is going to keep on rolling. And this Saturday there'll be some good games, but I'm going to be tuned in for Bama LSU. Boy, that's going to be a football game, man. I can't wait to see it. But so one of those is one of those two teams is going to lose. It will be interesting to see. Let's say Notre Dame wins, Clemson wins, and you got Bama, and then what is it? Clemson, Notre Dame,
LSU, Michigan,
and then LSU, Michigan,
and Texas,
and then Texas right behind them. So Michigan being on a bye week, will they like one of Alabama or LSU? Both those teams are in front of them. One of them is going to lose. Michigan's on a bye. I wonder how that's going to affect the standings, because if Alabama wins and they're on the road, I mean that's just what a huge win. You're playing against a top 5 team, top 4 team on the road, and you win. If LSU wins, you just beat the number 1 team in the country. How far does Alabama drop? Does Alabama just drop to number 2? Does LSU jump to number 1? I mean, do you put Clemson up there now? Does Notre Dame jump up if they win? That's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out. And what does Michigan do? Just being idle. They can't possibly drop. You couldn't drop them to 6 somehow, could you? Because they didn't play? I would think they would have to sustain their number 5 spot.
I think they could. I mean, I don't know all scenarios and who's playing who this week.
It's
but
wild, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, LSU Alabama's. It's not this weekend. It's the following weekend.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? I was wrong on that? I
Yep.
thought it was this weekend.
Nope.
I know I was reading about it. I know it was going to be the showdown. Man, it's the next weekend, huh?
Yeah. So Michigan has a bye this week, and then the following week, Michigan's playing Penn State at 3:30, and LSU Alabama's the night game. So they'll be playing back to back. But this week there isn't. This week there isn't a ton of big games.
Wow, yeah, looking at the schedule, man. Iowa, Penn State, if you call that a big game.
I think LSU and Alabama actually both have byes before that big game. So
Washington State, Stanford.
Maybe you should take your chick to cider mill or something. Tom.
this
the weekend to do it.
All right, everybody, come and watch.
It's the weekend to do it.
Come watch Bishop Foley as we
Oh,
take
yeah.
Detroit Loyola
Saturday
in
at
our playoff
1,
game,
man.
so.
Madison Heights, Michigan. Bishop Foley versus Detroit Loyola. And in the playoff, that's the biggest game of the weekend, man. To be honest with you. Oh man, sorry everybody. I really thought that was this weekend, the LSU Alabama. Yeah, there is really. Oh God. This is cider mill.
Cider Mill
Cider
Saturday.
Mill Saturday, man. Oh boy.
Hey, I'm just trying to help you out, Tom.
Hey, Florida, Georgia.
Remember, I'm
though.
married, so
Florida, Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out,
Yeah, I
Tom.
appreciate it, man. Florida, Georgia will be a good one. But yeah, that's about it, man. All right, so can't wait to talk about Alabama LSU next weekend, man. on next week's show. We'll be talking about.
Well, I'm sure next week's show will start about somebody else after hopefully a big win.
Speaking of big wins,
I'm hoping.
We tried to make that a smooth transition.
I tried to do it for you.
Speaking of big wins, let's hear a man who had a big win. Let's hear from a man who ran his team too hard in August. He
lost his team, Tom.
He lost the team because he made him do too many wind sprints. He's the man with a hat on his head, a beard on his chin, and a pencil in his ear. And he got a big road win. And so did the whole team. And if you already don't know who I'm talking about, we're talking about head coach of the Detroit Lions, Mr. Matt Patricia. And the Detroit Lions got a huge win Sunday against the Miami Dolphins, who they're a decent team. And to go on the road in that heat, I think they clocked it on the field. It's like 115 degrees or something crazy.
Oh, wow.
And, and the Lions, they looked real conditioned. So,
Keep them running. That's what I say.
Keep running. Keep on running. Let's hear the sound of joy.
Hey, proud of you. I told you, man. I told you, right? It's about us. It's always about us. It's about controlling the game. That's what you guys did. Hell of a job running the ball, baby. Hell of a job stopping that run. Good job, man. We got to hey, it's head down and grind, man. That's the time it is. It's football season. Head down and grind. Good job. Double meetings. Next time, we're play together. That's what I'm talking about. Dominated up front. Love it. Lions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Lions.
Oh, man, if that doesn't get you fired up. Fellas, let's do it right here. 1, 2, 3, Lions. 1, 2, 3, Lions! Is it? You guys are supposed to...
No. Sorry, I was writing down something.
It doesn't feel good, though, man. Doesn't it feel good to see this team come out and have a complete road win against a team who's not terrible? The Miami Dolphins were 4-2 coming into this game, and the Lions, they had a complete performance. There was a couple things that kind of worried you, some things to question, but all in all, that was a fun game to watch because the Lions just
ran the ball.
They ran the ball.
You heard Patricia.
Yeah. The passing game wasn't electric, but
they won at the lines.
They made plays. The offensive line and defensive line look really good. How fun is that to watch Ricky Jean-Francois, man? This guy is looking like a real producer. You know?
We have 4 sacks. You know, so we won at both the lines. When you run the ball, what did we end with?
I think it was 249 yards.
Yeah,
total.
Whoa. I didn't even realize it was that.
Yeah.
High. 248 yards.
Keep Calm and Carry On had almost 100 yards.
Yeah, I know he had
off his first 4 carries.
I didn't realize the total. I knew he had like 160 yards. He's 158
what
to be
a
exact.
beautiful thing to watch, man.
But yeah, to totally dominate like that on the offensive line, that's great to see.
Is Carry On Johnson the next Barry Sanders? Hot take.
I hate, why does
Hot
everybody
take.
have to compare everybody? Just let him
Because
be
it's the
him.
last good running back we ever had, and anybody who ever runs the ball good is the next Barry Sanders.
Let's just let him play and see what happens, all right?
So you're going on record saying he's not the next Barry Sanders.
Yes, he's Carry On Johnson. That's who he is.
All right.
But yeah, that's my biggest take out of it was just, Patricia said it, both lines. I also thought Jared Davis played a lot better.
Finally.
Maybe it's him trying to get Patricia's defense and thinking too much. That's what we said we were hoping for. So maybe that is the problem with another bye week. It helped him out. So that's kind of my take.
Just learning, seeing, and because I was a big fan of the first round pick of Jared Davis because of what I knew from seeing him playing at Florida, but I really started kind of falling off the wagon with him because he seemed confused. He seemed, even though he's super fast, he seems to react slow.
He's thinking. You can't think.
He's thinking too. Yeah, I think now it's starting to come to him, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that things like that is going to take time. And you have to imagine, you put a rookie linebacker, you put a rookie into the middle linebacker situation, man. That's crazy. To think about what he's going through. He has to be the leader of that defense, and he was, I know it's a second year now, but just what he was dealing with last year, and then
he's got a completely different scheme this year.
Yeah, a whole new coach, whole new scheme. I think he's coming into his own, and it's fun to watch. How about some of these guys though, man? Matt Stafford, really, 2 touchdowns, no picks. 217 yards, 18 for 22.
Yeah, he didn't need to throw the ball too much.
Yeah, I mean, if he's your fantasy quarterback, he's not lighting it up, but he didn't need to because look at the rushing, man. Carry On Johnson, 19 for 158. He had his longest run was that 71-yard he broke out. LeGarrette Blount, 10 carries for 50 yards, and then he got his goal line touchdown. Tate did his little it was like a jet sweep for 30 yards. And Amir Abdullah made an appearance. You guys excited about that? Or?
Just because Riddick's not playing.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
What
about the tight end? We finally got a tight end. I thought that's where you're moving next.
I'm right there, man, because I was receiving, man. Is this good or is this the problem? When Michael Roberts is your leading receiver with 3 catches for 48 yards, but he had the 2 touchdowns. Is that concerning?
Why would it be concerning? I mean, Stafford was 18 for 22, 217, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's efficient as hell. And you can be that way when you're running the ball like they were.
They don't have any tape probably on any throwing to any tight end because we never did. Yeah. So that's probably why he was open and they hit him with the ball.
I've always liked Roberts as a pick, and I think he's continuing to develop, and I think he can eventually take over that starting tight end spot.
Yeah, we can figure out, man, I was so mad when we let go of Ebron, man, but now I can finally get over the loss of Ebron because I see...
But I can't
even say that with a straight face.
He's getting all those catches and targets in Indianapolis. So hide the fact that they're throwing the ball 60 times a game, but he's getting all those catches. Yeah.
Well, he's actually catching the ball over there, too. But
he's dropping some, too.
Oh, he sure is, man.
I'm sure he is.
Stone Hands Ebron. I've seen him, man.
I haven't watched him.
God bless Red Zone, man. And so I get to watch a decent amount of Indianapolis football because you get to see everything with the Red Zone. I've seen a few third down, third and 7, and he's like 8 yards deep, right off the hands, man. I'm like
I said, I'm
that
not
looks
surprised.
familiar. That looks very familiar.
Not the
Did he tell them to say woke? down there too, or no?
Stay woke.
Yeah, like I said, not to sidetrack things too much, but what I compare that situation to is like a bad basketball team. Like a basketball team in the NBA is still going to score 80, 90 points.
Yeah.
Somebody has to score those points, right? You can have a crappy NBA player who gets a 30-point game.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's that great. It means it's just somebody's going to have to score those
Somebody's
points.
gotta score
It's the same
points,
thing
yeah.
with Ebron in Indianapolis. It's a bad football team that's throwing the ball 50, 60 times a game. Somebody's getting those targets. He's going to catch some of those, right? And he's getting 15 targets a game some of these games. He's going to get at least 7, 8 catches.
So this is balanced then. This is because receiving, like I said, 18 for 22 for Stafford. That's nasty. With 3 receptions for Roberts, 2 for Galladay, 4 catches for Tate, 3 catches for Marvin Jones, 1 catch for TJ Jones. Kerryon got 2 catches out of the backfield, and Abdullah got 1 for 12 yards. So, and hey, Luke Wilson made an appearance too, man. He caught a couple.
I mean, look at the
2 for
targets.
8
So it's
yards.
not like one guy had a ton.
Yeah.
Tate had the most with 6. So he is spreading the ball around. He's
And that
looking.
is that
He's
spread around.
reading the defense, seeing who's open, and
Yup.
throwing it. Who cares about your fantasy team?
Like, you look at the
you know?
stats, though, man. You look at that, dude. Oh, like, it's such a beautiful thing to see. Is
It's a total,
balance,
it's a total
the rushing,
team
the
win.
rushing. Yeah,
total
and that's what
Yeah.
it was. It was a total team win.
That's a good way of putting it.
And what does this mean for us now? What does this mean for the Lions now? What does it mean for us Lions fans? And what does it mean for the Lions that they're 3-3? The heart of you can't even. This was a tough schedule.
It's tough
already.
was tough.
So to be 3-3 now, but you got Chicago's starting to kind of not look as great as you may have thought they were. They had Khalil Mack.
Water's
trade is
coming to the
starting
level a little bit
Yeah,
with them.
Khalil Mack's got an ankle and he's not really performing lights out like he was at first. Kind of makes you wonder about that trade, like because I think a lot of people were like, give him the first round pick for the next 7 years for Khalil Mack. You know, it's time you got to win now. You know, and the Bears, I mean, they gave up a lot, and are they starting to learn that hey, they may have mortgaged too much of the future for a guy who, on a 53-man roster, is just one guy. It's disruptive as he is. It doesn't take much to shut that down now, because if he's not at 100% peak level, he's not being as disruptive. And now Chicago's I believe they've lost 2
I think last
in
2
a row.
Right? They were 3-1. They're 3-3 now.
Yeah,
I mean, they got,
but we're going. But point is, Chicago they're still good. They're still going to be a worthy opponent, and we got to play them on the road. And then we got Minnesota.
they got Seattle at home first.
Seattle at home first.
And then those 2 road games. So Seattle, that's another game they should win. They'll be favored in. They're playing them at home. That's a game they got to win. Were you
guys surprised that the Lions were favored on the road at Miami when the Lions had a worse record?
No, because Tannehill wasn't playing. I think if maybe Tannehill was playing, it might be another story.
Still, the Brock Osweiler had an incredible game.
He had
the Bears
for him, yeah.
But I actually said when we did our prediction article for Michigan Sports Entertainment. I put my prediction. I said, Brock Osweiler had 380 yards. That means he's going to have a pretty crappy game this game, because the whole thing with Brock Osweiler throughout his whole career is he's totally inconsistent.
Yeah,
he can have a wildly incredible game one week, and then the next week look absolutely terrible. And pretty much did. I mean, he was okay, I guess. But
Brocktober.
Yeah.
But we did. We
But I was, to answer your question, I was a little surprised.
I was surprised. I thought it would be. I thought Miami would be, because it's usually like if it's even. If it's 2 even teams, it's usually the home team gets the 3 points. I was very surprised to see. But is that Detroit getting some respect now?
Yeah.
People are starting to see the wheels turning here.
Well, they beat him by 11, so
yeah.
I mean, they were,
and they looked
right.
like a really good football team. Is this the Patricia coach football team that we can come to see now, or like as Lions fans, is this like, here we go, man? Like
they're sucking us in.
They're bringing us in for the big letdown, man.
But this feels different though.
Does it?
It feels different.
Feels different than what?
Than all pretty much the past Lions teams of the last. I mean, we'll call it the Stafford era, I guess, because they're running the football.
Caldwell's first season felt pretty good.
But still, even then, they were still more of a passing team. It was still centered around Stafford, and where he went, that's where the Lions went. They won this game running the football.
Yeah.
Which
that's
the difference.
You run the ball 248 yards in the NFL.
That's because we got the next Barry Sanders.
But the point is, though, like, the Patriots have always been a team where they're going to attack your weakness. Wherever your weakness is as a defense, they're going to exploit it and they're going to attack it relentlessly. The Lions have never been a team that were able to do that because they don't have the running attack. It was all dependent on Stafford, and they were going to go where he went. Now they're at the point offensively where the offensive line is gelling. They're healthy. They're playing well. You got an incredible receiving core. You got it was encouraging to see some tight ends step up a little bit in Michael Roberts. But most importantly, you have Kerryon Johnson becoming a star, and really a star in the city of Detroit. You're going to be a star in this town going forward. And then you combine that with Blunt being, the running attack that he has and the style that he brings in the short yardage attack. Like they can do whatever needed to do. So whatever weakness you have defensively, the Lions can attack it. Whether it's throwing the ball, whether it's running the ball, whether it's playing up tempo, whatever it may be, to attack your weaknesses, the Lions can do it, and they couldn't do that in the past.
Yeah. And that's what I saw on Sunday was a complete team win. Some trades have been made. Now, the trade deadline is coming up, I believe, sometime next week. It's the end of them. I think it's the 30th, maybe 31st, something. I'm not quite sure.
I know it's the middle of the week next week.
Yeah, I think it's the 30th or 31st. And some trades have already happened. Dallas gives up a first-round pick for Amari Cooper out of Oakland. I think Dallas gave way too high of a pick, but we'll see how, because they
love their wide receivers.
That was Jerry Jones. Watching what happened against Washington, and he went out.
He was a star. He would have made it.
What did they remember with was it Roy Williams?
Yeah,
didn't they give us the first round pick?
Yeah,
we
fleeced them on the Lions fleeced them on that one, man.
So that's expected, I think, from Jerry Jones.
Now, okay, but another trade today was Eli Apple out of New York, who was a first round draft pick, hasn't really lived up to expectations. He gets traded to the Saints for a fourth round pick next year, and I think a seventh round the year after.
The Saints know that they have a window, and it's closing with Drew Brees, so they're trying to win it all. They're a win-now team. They're trying to win it all now.
The Lions, the move I want to see, and he said he wants to be traded, Patrick Peterson. He is a dominant all-pro. Imagine having Peterson and Slay as your cornerbacks. If that move, now Arizona went on record saying, "Oh, we're not trading Peterson, it's not happening." But if you make the offer high enough, especially with Arizona, their season is in the toilet right now. The Lions are right in the thick of a division run right here. Would you offer up a first round pick? Would you offer up a first and a second for Peterson?
He wouldn't get that, I don't think. I'm looking at how old he is.
Patrick Peterson, it's going to take at least a first round pick.
He's 28 years old.
He's 28 years old. I think he's got 2 years on his contract, maybe. I think he's signed for at least I think it's a year. I think it's this year and next year. I think he's signed through next year. And you think, man, like these first, especially if you get them this year and you make the playoffs, that first round pick is going to be way up there.
You think he's going to get a first round pick?
Oh, it's going to be at least a first. I think it's going to be a first and probably a first round this year and a third round maybe next year.
I'm just always surprised on how in the NFL what the picks.
Well, you never know. It's so random.
It is.
A guy get traded for a third round pick. You're like, wow, man, he's a lot better player than that.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you see Amari Cooper go for a first round pick. Mm-hmm. I mean, Amari Cooper's a good talent, but he's not worth a first round pick.
I didn't think so. I thought that was mine.
So you never. It's really hard to judge, and it's really hard to sit here. And we've had this conversation with the Khalil Mack situation. It's hard to judge, if the team is giving up too much or not giving up enough, because you don't really know the value of it until the trade's actually made. Yeah. So to sit here and say is a first round pick too much? Well, I don't know what the other team.
And how many first round picks are busts though? Like a first round pick.
I could give up a second round pick.
If you go back, if you go back the last 10 years and you look at every first round pick of the last 10 years, how many of them do you think are superstars? Like, where would you put that that average, think of 10 years,
Probably 50,
32 picks a year. No way.
50.
I mean, superstars?
Superstars? Patrick Peterson has been an All-Pro every year he's played, I think. Like that guy's a superstar. I would put... Now, I wouldn't want to give much more. Like I would do Patrick Peterson for a first-round pick and Amir Abdullah. You know?
He's always that guy.
Because he's that guy because he's got some talent.
It's like the Tigers back.
It's kind of like
we'll give you Ryan Rayburn.
Yeah. Or what about
please
Theo?
Take him, please.
Theo, would you give him a first round and Theo Riddick? Theo Riddick's a hot commodity.
You're not putting the Cardinals aren't going to want players.
They'll want I think if you
they're not. It's going to be straight up for picks. In this situation, it's going to be straight for picks.
Would you do a first round this year and a third round next year?
I wouldn't give up a first round. I would do a second round. I would do a second round and a third round.
This year?
Following year.
A second round this year, third round following year?
Yeah. I wouldn't
for an all-pro shut-down cornerback.
I don't think the Lions' problem is their coverage, though.
Yeah, but just imagine, though.
I wouldn't give up that much for something that's not necessarily a weakness.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up too much for him either, but just because you need those young guys, you need the guys that are cheap to win championships. You need those guys. So when you get those first round picks, they're huge. Even though half of them pan out, if you do get that guy right, and he's that cheap for that and that good for 3-4 years, that's how you win championships, by getting those young guys.
Well, I mean, that's not the only form. There's such a mix to it, man.
But maybe they can find somebody that's, maybe not Patrick Peterson, but maybe make a trade for somebody for a depth move, or somebody that's, maybe not at Patrick Peterson's level, but still a solid football player, and maybe get him for like a 4th or 5th round pick. That's more the Patriot way of doing things.
Yeah.
They never used to trade 1st and 2nd round picks.
What
for guys.
we do need is more pass rush. But everybody in the NFL needs more pass rush, man. Yeah. It's like that skit. We need more cowbell. That Saturday Night Live. I got a fever. And what we really need is more pass rush. But that's what everybody needs, more pass rush. But if you could get 2 Pro Bowl lockdown corners, man, and you mortgage a little bit of the future, I think the Lions...
I would say this. I personally wouldn't give a first round. But if they went out and made that trade, and say it was a first round, just a first round, or maybe like a 6th round or something, whatever, I wouldn't be like, oh, man, what are they doing? I'd be like, oh... It's an interesting move, and they're going all in. And I can't sit here and say I wouldn't be excited.
I mean, have you watched
Patrick Peterson?
Do you watch a lot of Arizona Cardinal football? Have you seen Peterson play?
Yes,
the guy is
I know how solid.
But Tom, do you think that if they trade for him, they'll win the Super Bowl? Do you think they'll win a playoff game if they trade for him?
Let's put it this way: do they win the division?
I think getting Peterson makes the team a lot better, and I think right now they have a chance to win the division. I don't think Patrick Peterson is the end-all, be-all to make this team everything it needs to be to win the Super Bowl.
So then why do you give up a first-round pick for him?
Because you're making your odds a lot better.
Today...
For this year and next year.
But maybe not.
And Bob Quinn said it. Bob Quinn said it. He said... Lions GM Bob Quinn said, we're not firing Caldwell because we're going into a rebuild. We believe that we could win now, and we didn't think that Caldwell was the guy that could bring us that extra step forward. We thought Patricia was. So Bob Quinn needs to be out here making moves to solidify that. And if you go out there and you make a move, because basically what Quinn said was, we are a win-now team. We have the team. We have the talent. We just needed a coach that can bring us to that next level.
Of course he's going to tell you that.
So make a move then.
But is Patrick Peterson that move?
He's a
move. You don't do a move just
he's
for
not. No, it's not. Patrick Peterson not just a guy, man.
Oh, I know.
It's a move to get and just a dude. If you have 2 shut down corners,
it's good for the team for sure.
Man, it's huge. Think about all the pass rush. Having 2 shutdown corners automatically brings your pass rush up because you can now blitz more. and the interceptions will be much higher, man. The turnovers. I'm telling you, man.
In theory, yeah.
The Lions Bob Quinn should go make this move. And with Patricia being a defensive guy, I bet he's in Quinn's ear right now saying, hey, you see that
to
guy
me,
out
I
in
don't think you
Arizona?
give up picks.
We need to go get
To me,
this
I don't think
dude.
you give up a first-round pick unless you think
If you're a win-now team.
if it's going to take you over the edge to win a Super Bowl. That's the only time I think you give up.
This
let's
is the
think about it.
NFL, man.
Let's think about it.
Who could honestly make that move? What team?
Who just did? Apple?
Cowboys? Oh,
No, well, the Cowboys got Amari
they're not-
Cooper from.
they could win the division.
But they just gave up. The Cowboys are not going to win.
That's Jerry Jones
the Super Bowl.
and a wide receiver.
But
He has a
the
love for
Saints-
fascination with wide receivers.
But the Saints only had
That's
to
different.
give up. I believe it. I think it wasn't that much, man. It was
That's
like
what
a
I'm
third,
saying.
and they didn't give him. But
That's what I'm
Eli
saying.
Apple is not Patrick Peterson.
I know he's not as good, but he's pretty good.
Oh man, like potentially he might.
But that's
be,
when you
But
do
he
that.
hasn't shown. Peterson has shown year after year that he is a dynamic football
You saw
player.
Apple play Monday night, right? He had a
He's
good
good.
game. Yeah.
It was a good trade
That's
for
why I
the
don't
Saints, but the
think-
Saints didn't have to give up a ton. Now,
That's why I don't think Peterson is a first round pick is on the table for him. I really don't.
oh, dude, Arizona's phones are lit up right now.
They might be, but it might be for hey, hit a second round, third round pick.
Ah, man, I bet.
I just see the Saints as a team that is a win now team. They see their window closing, so they're a team that has to do something like that because
What are the Lions?
they're maybe a couple more years, a year or two away.
I think, okay.
You said
So
next
you
year, right?
brought up, are the Lions a Super Bowl contender? Does getting Patrick Peterson puts you in contention for the Super
Yes.
Bowl? I would say getting Patrick Peterson puts them I think they're already in contention, but it definitely puts them in contention for the division championship, right? You win a division championship, you're a Super Bowl contender. You get you get
You get
at
home
worst you get the home playoff game in the
Yeah,
first round.
that's- yeah.
If you're one of the top two teams, then you're getting a bye.
Yeah.
But you're in the playoffs with a home game for
Yeah.
the first game. You're a
The way
contender.
that, the
You're
way
a Super Bowl
it is,
contender.
the way the NFL
Yeah, I
is
guess
structured
that's a
right
good
now,
way of
if you
putting it.
get into the playoffs, you are a contender because it's been shown time and time again that the 6th seed can make a run. The NFL
They
is
can,
wild.
but your odds are a lot more different. If you win the division,
No, that's a good point that
If you
Dan
win the
made
division and
about-
have a home playoff game, or if you're getting in that upper echelon of the top two and get a bye, you are absolutely a contender for the Super Bowl because you're one of the, if you win the division, you're one of the top 4 teams. You're one of the top 4 teams, so you're a contender. Absolutely, you're a contender. And I think Patrick Peterson makes them, if not the favorite, they're right there to win the NFC North.
And why not? Like, why not make a move just to bring the excitement level? Like, imagine the excitement
You don't
level
make
that,
moves just to bring
Oh,
excitement.
I think you do. I think in this climate,
Not for a first-round
for
pick.
Lions,
It not the excitement level, but it definitely gives some motivation in the locker room that like this organization wants to win
Making
now
moves to-
and gonna
yeah.
do what it takes.
we
to win.
believe in this team right now, and we're doing it. I fully.
That's why I'm not totally against making the move. I don't like giving up picks, high
Nobody
picks
likes
like
giving
first
up
round
picks, man. But
I'm not gonna
Well,
be. I'm
except
not gonna
Jerry
be
Jones.
upset.
Jerry Jones just wheels them out willy nilly.
If
Yeah,
it came out
especially for wide receivers.
If it came out and said, "Hey, the Lions were offered Patrick Peterson for a first-round pick and a third-round pick in 2019 or whatever, or 2020, I guess it would be," and they didn't take it, I wouldn't be upset. If they go ahead and make the move, I'm not going to be upset. Like I can see both sides of it. I'm not going to be upset either way. But I do think bringing in Patrick Peterson would definitely elevate their chances of winning the division. I don't think it's going to. It's like you said, it's not the
Guaranteed.
be all end all of the team. It's not going to be the difference
They're not
between
gonna
them
be
winning the Super Bowl and not
favorite.
making the playoffs. But
Yeah.
it gives them a better opportunity to win the division. If you win the division, it incredibly increases your chances.
And
of
no
getting to the
offense
Super
to
Bowl.
our guy, like is it Lawson? I think it's
Lawson,
Lawson's the other
yeah.
cornerback. No offense to him, man. He's been playing pretty well. The secondary is like one of the elite secondaries in the league right now.
Well, statistically, because teams ran all over him the first couple of weeks, so they didn't have to throw the ball.
But they look good. But I'm just saying, man, you had. And I know they spent a second round pick on Tease Tabor, who they're hoping is
He's been
He,
playing
becomes
too.
Patrick
he had his
Peterson,
better game this
essentially.
game too.
But man, I'm just saying, man, just you bring a guy like that. I want to see that move, man. Just to see some aggression, have some excitement, and just show the league that we're the Lions and we're here, like we're here to do damage, and we're gonna start making moves. We're not your fathers, we're not your grandfathers, we're not your older brothers, Detroit Lions anymore, man. We're not the doormat of the league. We're here to make moves, and we're not scared, and we're gonna make some noise this year. And when I say we, I mean the Lions. I mean that's the Lions talking to. I'll never be able to not say we when it comes to the Lions.
You have a Lions hat on.
Oh,
so you
my
can say
Lord,
it.
I know, man.
If you have a Lions hat on, you can
38 years, man, and blood, sweat, and tears. Literally, man, the punching holes in walls after some of these losses, and I think I cried when we lost to Green Bay.
Sterling Sharp wide open down the side.
Yeah, I think I was 12 years old, crying. Man, but I think we all have, man.
But
Lions fans.
You brought up excitement, like bringing excitement. I'm getting excited.
I am. I was excited
just because of the way they're winning these football games.
Yeah,
and it's very similar to our conversation about Michigan. Like Michigan being able to run the ball against these good teams, seeing the Lions go on the road into Miami against a pretty decent defense and be able to run the ball for almost 250 yards. That's just unheard of with the current era of the Lions football. Like we just haven't seen that, and you can see by the numbers how much that helps Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
He goes 18 for 22.
His passer rating,
so efficient.
Yeah, just efficiency, man. Like,
130.
And he doesn't have to throw. You know, he's not throwing out jump balls.
I think the last 4 weeks it's been over 100. The passer
his
rating.
QBR or his...
QBR. It's all.
But the thing is, he doesn't have to take risks. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to throw
yeah.
jump balls. Like he used to just throw the jump balls to Calvin Johnson and hope.
Yeah, he's running for his life and just chucks it for
just hopes it.
Hoping Calvin comes up with it. Man.
He doesn't have to do that. He can just be efficient and take what the defense gives him because he's in so many 2nd and 2s or 3rd and 1s, or 2nd and 4 situations. He's not in these 3rd and longs and 2nd and long situations, so it allows him to be efficient because it opens up so many things offensively.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you, man.
Can we sustain that running ability for the rest of the season?
I think they beat Seattle, and then they go from there, and then those 2 weeks, those back-to-back weeks, actually it's 3 weeks in a row, at Chicago,
Minnesota, right?
At Minnesota, and then Chicago again on Thanksgiving. That 3-week stretch, if they can run the football and be as effective as they were against Miami, then it's time to start really getting excited around here because then we really have a good, good football.
We're gonna, like this is like we're learning a lot about Michigan. Although Michigan's gauntlet has kind of toned down because at the beginning of the season when you saw the Michigan schedule and it was like, oh, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Penn State.
It's still tough, those games on the road.
It's still the gauntlet. But this is now the Lions gauntlet. It's crazy to think about because we already had Green Bay and New England. But this is the real gauntlet now. Like, Seattle is still a decent team. When you go through that, like you just said, Dan, that stretch right there, that is the meat of the schedule, especially because it's the division.
It's 3 games in 18 days.
Against your division opponents. And, man, if you can go 3-0, imagine if they go 3-0 in that stretch. They're in prime, and you already beat Green Bay.
I don't think they're going to go 3-0.
Why?
But if they can take 2 out of 3... They can take the Seattle game.
You could beat Chicago twice, man. You could beat Chicago twice. Can they beat
Minnesota?
At
the beginning of the year.
Can they beat Minnesota on the road?
That's going to be tough.
That's going to be a tough game. But
Chicago on the road is going to be tough too.
Buffalo beat the hell out of Minnesota.
The Jets beat the hell out of the Lions. You could say that too.
We don't talk about that game.
That game doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Wait, what? I don't even know what you're.
We forgot about game 1 and 2.
Isn't that crazy? Like where we were.
It's the NFL, man.
And where the team is now, winning 3 of the last 4 games.
I'll never forget the moment where in week 2 you had the clown show. It was Matt Breida running circles, or just running circles all the way down the field. I think he ran. It was like a 70-yard run. I think all 11 Lions tried to tackle him, and he did the old Bo Jackson thing. He kind of ran back and started messing around. I think he ran across the field one time just to mess with them. And I said it. I said it on Facebook. I'm like, this team is going to go 0-16 because of that clown show right there. And then everything changed,
5
man.
weeks.
Everything
It was
changed.
the Patriots game.
How quickly things can change,
Yeah,
man.
the Patriots game after we saw that same thing.
Yeah.
We ran all over them
Yup.
and
Sunday
held
football.
them.
And look at the Patriots now, man. I know their seed. God, talk about a
Well,
team
we
that's
did hit
changed
them. We hit them at a
dramatically.
good time. They were
Yeah.
pretty depleted on defense
Yeah.
that game.
But
Now
look
they got
at
Gordon and-
what the Patriots do. They struggle the first
They
few
do,
games.
yeah.
They find
That's so normal, yeah, for them.
And it's very similar to what's going on with
Yeah.
the Lions. And it's the Patriot way, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's what they're bringing in. That's the culture they're bringing in. They
So
look
are we
very
calling
similar.
it right now? Lions, Patriots, Super Bowl.
No, I'm calling Rams Chiefs Super Bowl.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little more likely there, Tom.
I don't know, man.
We'll see. There's still a lot of football left. There's still 10 more games.
Oh, like think
for
about
the
how great it
Lions.
would be, though, man. Lions, Patriots,
Oh, dude.
Patricia. Versus...
Hey, I hope they do because in Vegas I put for the Lions to go to the
Did
Super
you really?
Bowl. Yeah.
You got it? Nice.
I didn't pick them to win. I picked them to go.
Just to go?
I figured if they go to the Super Bowl and they lose, I'll still be happy because I'll win money. That's the way I look at it.
What are your odds?
What was it? 25?
25 to 1?
I think it was 25.
And what'd you put, 10 grand?
$20.
20 bucks?
10 grand.
Yeah. I wish I had money like that. I could just do a dumb bet like that with 10 grand.
So you're not Floyd Mayweather.
No. No, I put $20
$20
in Vegas.
So
And I picked for the Titans to win the Super Bowl.
The
Yeah,
Titans.
well, that's not going to happen. Well, I guess they got a chance to win the division, but they're not going to do anything.
Jeez.
But,
I don't know. After last year, I thought they would take a step up this year. And
well, Mariota's got his thumbs all jacked up. He's
Yeah.
throwing hands.
He's man, I like watching that guy play football, though, man. I know we're getting off the rails here, but dude, Mariota, man, because I watched that game the other day, man. The London game,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That was fun to watch, man.
well, what do you think's going to happen
yeah.
this week with the Lions
With their
against
picks
Seattle?
for Seattle.
I think the Lions keep it rolling. I think Seattle's they got some issues. They're a decent football team, but they're not that good. They're coming all the way. As hard as it is, because you always talk about when the Lions got to go out west and how difficult that is. I think the Lions got some real momentum right now, man. They got a huge road win. Call it what you want, man. Miami was 4-2. We went down there. That heat was extreme. And the Lions played their first complete football game that I've seen like in a long time, where they just look like it's all clicking now. And I think we roll Seattle. I honestly do. I'm going to say Lions 34, Seattle 17. I think the Lions really step it up this week.
To tell you the truth, I really don't know who to pick. I think it is pretty much a coin flip. I really think both teams are a little better than mediocre. So I actually am having a tough time picking this game. I do think the Lions will have a problem with Russell Wilson and him scrambling a little bit, which kind of concerns me. It just depends on if we can run the ball and if we can keep him in the pocket and make him throw the ball, if we can beat him. So honestly, I don't think the Lions will win this game.
Oh, you're picking up the lose?
I am picking the Lions to lose.
Oh, what?
I'm picking the Lions to lose 24-20.
Boo!
I
Boo
just-
this man! Boo this man!
I feel like the Lions are going to lose.
Like the LSU's going to drop this week after we all buy in.
Wow.
I mean,
It'd be right on time.
I think Seattle has a good coach. Like I said,
That's the Lions way. That's
SOL!
I just feel like Russell Wilson's going to be too hard to handle
Boo!
for the Lions. I really do.
Boo.
Yeah, I'm not going that way. I'm not picking the Lions to lose. I think Russell Wilson will make a lot of plays to keep this game close and keep it competitive. But I don't think Seattle's got the running game they used to have. They definitely don't have the defense they used to have. The Legion of Boom is all gone now. I think the Lions' offense is just clicking on all cylinders at this point with the rushing attack. The offensive line is gelling. Stafford's been just incredibly efficient. And I think that's going to continue, especially at home. That crowd is going to be electric. They're fired up. They know we got a football team now that can actually compete and maybe do something this year. So I don't think the Lions are going to roll them. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think the Lions will kind of command this whole game, kind of like the Dolphins game where you never really felt like the game was in jeopardy. The Lions kind of controlled the game the whole time, but it's still kind of close. I think it'll be similar. I'll say the Lions 28, Seattle 20.
I do agree with you. I think it'll be that type of game, but I just feel like Russell Wilson will make that last.
Make enough plays.
I don't think so, man.
I hope not. I'm just saying what I think.
I just think
I picked that a lot of things wrong. I finally picked the game right this week.
How dare you pick against my favorite team?
Yeah. We are going to storm in there, and we. No, man. Honestly, though, I think Ford Field is going to be rocking. I think the Lions faithful is all back on board now, and I think something was shown this Sunday, and I think the Lions. I think they look really good. They look like a really good football team, man. I'm just gonna go against your pick so hard because man, they got to keep this rolling, right?
They have
Absolutely.
to.
They can't drop.
They're not gonna fall on their face,
They can't
right?
lose this game. They got to win.
Oh man, let's hope so. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next week. I don't promise it, but we may or may not talk about some other sports.
And a bye week.
We'll see.
Bye week for Michigan.
There are some teams you guys may or may not know that half of the Tigers are playing in the World Series, and then we got a basketball team and a hockey team that
exist.
Yeah, that exist.
Good way of putting it.
So we may or may not talk about that next week. I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Jack. He is an avid listener, and I have to do this one thing, Dan. We do got to talk 10 seconds of hockey. He needs me to ask you, Joe, because you are our resident hockey guy. With the Red Wings being such a young team, and he feels that Blashill has been pulling the goalie too early, or he shouldn't be pulling the goalie at all. He should let the young forwards try to attack and not take the goalie out because the defense is a little bit weaker. So
they're very weak.
Giving the extra attacker doesn't necessarily make things better. Do you think that right now that...
Oh, you mean at the end of the game?
At the end of the game in the last couple games, not the one they won, but the two previous games, he had pulled the goalie. Do you think Blashill is wrong for pulling the goalie while the Wings have been attacking heavier, and he should have just let those guys try to get a goal? Or do you think pulling the goalie is, with a minute and a half when you're down, is always the right move no matter what?
I think it's the right move most of the time because you have 6 guys on 5 and you should be able to control the puck. But if you are having issues controlling the puck, then it's probably not a good idea. It probably is a good idea to wait a little longer. And I know we have a lot of injuries with our defensemen, so there are a lot of rookies and young guys back there. So he might be right. It might be a good idea to wait a little longer, but I would still probably pull it with a minute left.
You're always going to, if you're down, no matter what,
who cares if you lose?
You're always going to pull the goalie.
Yeah, who cares if you lose 2-1
at some point,
or 3-1, or you know what I'm saying? Who cares? It doesn't really matter.
His point was he thought that the forwards were doing a good enough job of attacking, and then since they are young, give them a chance to just try to pull it out themselves without the defense just slapping it down the ice trying to shoot.
You can't slap it down the ice. You still have to get to center. So you just have to get on the pucks quicker.
Yeah.
They're just not doing a good enough job to get on the puck. You got to get 2 guys on the puck when you clear the net and take them out so you can get the puck. So you just got to get those guys more physical on the other team quick and physical to knock the puck away to get the puck back. Yeah. But you should always pull the goalie because it doesn't really matter if you lose 3-1 or by an extra goal. Who cares?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. It's all about. It's mainly about winning losses.
Should be on the hot seat this year.
Yes.
Why? Like everybody, like Vegas knows that the Wings are the most. How to say the
worst? Or?
They're the odds wise, they're the worst team in the whole NHL. So, what kind of setup is that for you as a coach? So what needs to be shown for Blashill to keep his job? and how bad can it get to where he should be fired? Like, when you're already supposed to be the worst team in hockey, why
does it matter? Because you need to develop those guys, and you've noticed the guys have not been developing. And I kind of always you need a guy with more experience too, especially with young guys. You saw how the Tigers, who they brought in an older guy with experience that can kind of help the guys grow and rebuild the team. I feel like you kind of need to do the same thing with the Wings. But it's like, who is that guy out there? I'm not really sure who the best coach would be. I'll have to research that a little bit, who's out there. But I don't know. I don't think having a young coach with young guys is a great idea.
So I would
disagree?
Go ahead. That point a little bit. Okay, so you brought up the Tigers with being a young team. When they brought in Osmus with a win now, World Series or bust team, we talked about why would you bring in Osmus as an inexperienced coach, a young coach.
Yeah, okay.
So if you wouldn't bring a young coach into a World Series of bust team or a Stanley Cup or bust team, and you wouldn't bring him in with a young team that's rebuilding,
when you bring him in,
so you would just never bring a young coach in.
To me, honestly, no. I like more experienced coaches in general. So yeah, to me, I would always bring more an experienced coach.
My point with Blashill would be, it was thought that he was proving himself at Grand Rapids with the players that he was developing, and how they're constantly in Calder Cups and
some of the young guys on the roster right now he was developing. And
so it would seem that if he was good at Grand Rapids, why wouldn't he be a good developer of talent in the NHL?
It's
it's a different game.
I'm not as privy to being, I'm not going to call myself an expert of the NFL, but I just know a lot more about football than I do about hockey. And if it just would seem to me that if he was so good at Grand Rapids at developing this prospects, that he'd be able to do it at the NHL level. And is it more of a case that the team just doesn't have enough talent?
It's part of it.
They're not winning, and it's not so much the coaching. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter what coach you put in there right now. You could put Scotty Bowman in there in his prime. That it wouldn't matter because this team is just so devoid of talent and experience right now that it wouldn't matter who they put in.
I think that's part of it too. I do think that in the farm system, he was developing players, like you said. They would come up, but then they would kind of fizzle. And I think part of it is our drafting. We drafted all small little guys, and that worked back in the day, but the game has changed a little bit. So I think that's kind of a problem. All the Tatar and Nyquist and all them, you kind of thought those guys would develop into, Dasuk and Zetterberg and take over, but they never did. And you would think that Blashill would translate into the NHL, but not everybody does. I am the type of person that I do like experience. I do like the older person. Like the Rams did. They got the younger coach, and it worked for them, and it can work. But to me, with younger guys, I would like experience.
Sorry, we got breaking news, though. Sorry to cut off the Hockey Minute.
Yeah, it was actually a lot longer than a minute.
Keep going.
Blake Griffin just capped off a career at 50 points, and he did it by going in for a layup where he got fouled, and one made the free throw for the Pistons to go up. They got to win 133-132 in overtime, and Blake Griffin just did a superstar move. He dropped 50 tonight, man. We could talk about this next week, man, but I'm sorry, I just got really, really excited about the Pistons.
Yeah, we can tell.
And all this went down while we were talking, so yeah, we're definitely going to have to talk some Pistons basketball, because what happened tonight is at least from what I just saw, and I only got to see the little highlight, looked awesome. So,
and that's something, because we got to talk about Dwayne Casey, because we talked about coaches, about Blashill.
Yeah,
Casey might be making a difference with the Pistons.
I think so, man. So we're definitely getting into Detroit basketball next week.
Maybe we can finish our Red Wings discussion a little bit too.
Yeah,
since we were just rudely interrupted.
The hockey 2. Yeah, we'll make it the hockey 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll add a whole another minute.
All right. Hey, man, Joe, you got a little bit in there, man. Yeah. And again, shout out to my buddy Jack. He's the only reason I even thought about it, man. But Jack is an avid listener, and he wanted to know your opinion on that, since you are the hockey guy.
Hockey guy, yeah.
The hockey guru.
Why does it matter? You're going to lose 2-1 or 3-1.
You might as well take the chance.
You might as well take the chance. Like I said, if you're not as good.
What he's saying is the chance, just to reiterate iterate. He's saying the chance, like taking the goalie out makes it less of a chance because the guys were doing a good enough job attacking, getting shots, and let's see if the guys that are already
If they're doing
the
a
guys,
good enough job, then it shouldn't be a worry about the pucking.
Yeah, because you should have two guys on the puck. So if you have if you always keep two guys on the puck, they're not going to keep it.
If you're already doing a good job, then adding a sixth player, then you shouldn't have to worry about it.
I just think you should do it less time. If you have a hard time controlling it, just don't do it for the minute and 30. Do it for a minute.
Yeah.
So I maybe cut it a little less.
Yeah.
But I think you should always pretty much try to do that because it doesn't really matter if you have the extra guy. You can try to set up a play and get a good shot on that.
And like Joe said, you got to get past center ice before you can shoot it down anyways because it's going to be icing.
Yeah.
So you just got to be more physical with the other team and get the puck.
I don't know. Do you guys see what he's even? Because he's like, am I crazy? Like, because he's just saying I didn't think they should have pulled the goalie. Pulling the goalie is almost like accepting defeat.
No, it's not. It's giving yourself a chance.
Yeah.
Because if you pull the goalie, it gets you an extra forward.
Yeah,
if you keep the puck in their zone, it gets you an opportunity. Well, you see it all the time where you get that extra forward, you're keeping possession, and then it forces a penalty, and then they go in the box. Now you get a 6-4 advantage. Now you really got a chance to score.
Yep.
So you got to give yourself the best opportunity to try to get that tying goal, and the best way to do it is to pull your goal.
It's like
the 6 forward.
It's like throwing a Hail Mary. Yeah, you could get it intercepted, right, and it could turn the ball over, but you need to try to score to win the game. That's kind of relating it to football.
I hear you. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Dan, Joe, it's been great. Next week, we are going to expand our horizons, I think, a little bit, man. This is not the Detroit sports football show, but it pretty much is around this time of year. But we got some other things to talk about, so maybe we will expand. It was kind of fun talking hockey first. And then there's some things going on in basketball, man. There is a basketball team in this town. There is a hockey team in this town.
Basketball's a little bit more exciting right now. Being 3-0, we might have something there.
Yeah, especially if Blake, he dropped 50 tonight. Yeah, dude, wait till you see this highlight, man.
Wait till him and Reggie get hurt.
Their next
that's all I'm
says the guy who picked the Lions to lose.
I just messed with
Black Cloud Joe.
I had to bring it down to earth for a second.
No, wait, man, dude. Nothing's bringing me down this weekend, man.
All right. I won't try to bring you down, Tom.
We'll see what happens, see what happens next week. But, oh, man. It was a good weekend. It was a good sports weekend.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going with the Red Wings and the Pistons. And hopefully the Lions will win.
Yeah. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody put all your positive energy towards the Bishop Foley Ventures. The Bishop Foley Ventures. And because they got a big playoff game, Dan, good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
I think you guys are going to beat Detroit Loyola. I don't am I allowed to give predictions on high school
No, we're not giving
games?
predictions. Not giving predictions.
For all the gamblers out there that are watching.
But if anybody that's listening, the game's 1:00 on Saturday. At Bishop Foley Field, Madison Heights. Come support us. Tom's going to be doing the broadcast. We'll have the link out there on Michigan Sports Entertainment's Twitter, on our Facebook page. We'll even put it out on our Twitter page.
Yep.
I don't even know if you guys know we even had one. DSSD podcast is our Twitter page for our podcast. Yeah. But yeah, we'll put the link out there. Tom and Braxton Chris are going to be announcing the game as they've done all year. And yeah, we've had a great year, and we're hoping to keep it rolling into the playoffs.
Yep. And Joe's got a big hockey game. Are you playing Rays Auto and Tired Wednesday night? Is that?
I'm not sure who we're playing, but I did have a breakaway goal last week. We had five guys that showed up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but we had an extra beer, so I was happy about
extra
that.
beer.
Yeah, if there's only 5 guys,
so
you can get 3 beers.
So did somebody play goal?
Well, I mean, we had 5 plus a goalie.
Oh, you had a goalie and 5.
So no, you never came off the ice.
So yeah, it was fun, and I'm in awesome shape right now. So
yeah.
it felt great.
Look at man. I was wondering what the crutch and the neck brace were all about, man. But
yeah,
notice you're a little winded too.
Yeah, way winded last week.
Oh no, that's awesome, man. And my fantasy team, man, is doing great, man. I took all 4 wins. Ding ding. No. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great week, and with what the Pistons just did tonight, let's keep it rolling, man. Blake drops 50, and we're gonna talk about it next week. Maybe. It depends on how much football we talk. But for real, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Detroit Sports Sit Down, and we will be back next week. So stick around for the best moments of Detroit sports history. Peace.
Renicky off the bag at first. The pitch, he swings, and there's a fly ball to left. Here comes Herndon. He's there. He's got it. The Tigers are the champions of 1984. They race on the field of Bob Hernandez. The Tigers have won the World Series. They are the champions of the world in 1984.
4 seconds left. He's got the ball. He should have it. Isaiah hangs on the ball, flips it up to the rafters. Detroit is the city of champions again.
Benny Johnson with 1 second to go. His shot is good. With 7/10 of a second. Timeout, Portland. They're going wild at the Palace because they are watching one of the great teams of recent years in the NBA, UB Brown, with their gutty. Averaging just under 38 on 44 kicks this year. Nice high kick, got a little wind under it. And it runs Howard back over. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman. Gretzky had it, lost it. Eisenman picks it up. Eisenman moving. Blue line chance. Oh! Steve Eisenman! Detroit wins!
All right. Oh, my goodness, look at this. He runs Woodson all the way back to the 22-yard line. Woodson's got 1 block. And another block. 1 more, and he's gone. Touchdown. No flag.
Wings trying to get the sweep. 3 seconds left. Oh, the Detroit Red Wings are the Stanley Cup champions!
Second down and 8 at the 44, 13-10 Detroit. Barry cut back. Now he's got it. 50, 40, 30. Look out. Right side 20, 15 to the 10, to the 5. He's well over 2,000 now. Holy mackerel. They can't take that ball away from him. Whoa. Once again, Sanders. As good as they get.
The countdown begins. 10 seconds away from successfully defending the Stanley Cup. The Detroit Red Wings. Their bench up. Osgood with his arms up over his head coming out. The Detroit Red Wings have won the Stanley Cup for the 2nd year in a row.
Robitaille will win their first. The Detroit Red Wings have won the 2002 Stanley Cup.
He lost the handle. Tinsley Miller. And it's blocked again. Oh. What a block. How did Prince get there? What a block. I didn't think it was any way possible for him to get this shot. He's 10 rows into the crowd.
Top of second. The 1-0. Swinging a fly ball. Left field. It's deep. It's way back. The Tigers are going to the World Series. 3-run walk-off home run. Oh, man. I told you it's the wrong third.
The Tigers have beat the A's 6-3, completed a 4-game sweep in one of the greatest turnarounds in baseball history.
10 seconds to go. Gonchar flip one. It's off the glove of Lindstrom. Sent back out to center ice off Clary. Gonchar turns it around. It is brought right back in. A little pass to the front backhander. Somebody's got it. And that's it. The Detroit Red Wings, for the first time in 11 years, are the Stanley Cup champions. One last marvelous play.
The 1-1 to Nix. He swings and he puts it up on the right side. Fielder calling for it, and he makes the catch. World Series bound. The Tigers sweep the Yankees with an 8-1 win.
It's his protection. He'll work out of the gun. Play clock at 3. Matthews got it back, sets, looks, throws. He's got Golden Tate who makes the catch inside the 15, inside the 10, and he's breaking away. He's into the end zone. Pack the bags, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.